pessoal, o que vocês vão ver agora é o meu primeiro vídeo em inglês aqui do canal, então não liguem, eu tava um pouco nervosa, o meu professor também tava um pouco nervoso, e nesse vídeo eu fiz algumas perguntas pra ele, tanto sobre aprender inglês, como sobre sotaques em geral, então foi um vídeo muito legal de gravar. Eu não traduzi ao pé da letra, eu traduzi como faz sentido pra gente, então quem é expert em inglês aí, vocês vão ter o bom senso de entender que eu traduzi o que faz mais sentido, em vez de traduzir ao pé da letra, né? Então, espero muito que vocês gostem e no final do vídeo eu converso com vocês de novo. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and this is my first video in English, so I hope you'll enjoy it. In the video I'm talking to my teacher Gerry. He's my English teacher and he's Irish. So the questions were about learning English and about Irish accent and that stuff, so I hope you enjoy it. And in the end of the video I talk to you.
You should never sit with your arms folded, that it's very defensive. But
You're defensive.
it's my...
Can you see yourself?
Oh, I don't want to see myself.
No?
I can see myself, but I don't want to.
I have to because I have to see if we are in
Okay.
the right position. Jerry, first I would like to know a little more about you as a teacher.
Okay, well, I've been a teacher now for a very long time, for 36 years. When I qualified first, 36 years ago, I worked for the first few years as a secondary school teacher because I had studied French and history at university and those were my subjects. So I did that for a few years. And then in the mid-80s, like many other Irish people, I was forced to emigrate because there was so little work in Ireland. So I moved to London with my best friend and we found work almost immediately. And at that time, the English as a foreign language industry was beginning to boom. So I was offered work in a language school. And I worked there for the next 3 years. And then I returned to Ireland for 5 years. Then I went to Spain for 2 years and worked as an English teacher there and really loved it. Then I came back to Ireland in 1997 and I've worked at the Bridge Mills for 20 years now.
Did you learn Spanish when you were there?
Well, I had studied Spanish at university also. So, but obviously it improved a lot by living in Spain.
Now you would say you can speak like Spanish and French?
I wish I could say that. In the past I could speak both of them very, very well, but now they're both quite rusty. But the passive knowledge is still there.
Okay, so do you think there is another language you'd like to learn?
I like the Romance languages, the Latin languages, because I think they're the most beautiful. So it would be maybe Italian or Portuguese.
Italian is beautiful. Oh, Portuguese is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
For those that want to study, to start learning English now, what tips would you give to them?
Okay, from my own experience of also studying like languages like French and Spanish and having the same problems that every other language learner has, I try to develop a real love for the language. Don't learn a language, well, okay, sometimes some people have to learn a language because their boss needs them to. But I think you should really try to learn a language for the love of it, because you really want to. I think if you're forced to learn a language, it can create very negative feelings in the learner.
In another video, I give some tips, like how to learn English by yourself. Do you think that series and movies and books, music can help it if you're learning by yourself?
I definitely do. Again, I know from my own experiences of when I was living in Spain, and I also lived in France for a year, many years ago. And initially when I moved to France and Spain, my spoken ability was quite low, even though I could read and write very, very well. But because I hadn't lived in those countries before, I wasn't so fast or so quick to speak. So I discovered that by watching TV programs regularly, it really developed my listening skills and hence my speaking skills. And I went out and socialized with French speakers and Spanish speakers as much as I could. I think that's very important.
Yeah, if you're shy, it would be very hard to improve. Yeah. Do you think it's possible to become fluent without living abroad for a while?
It's possible for some people, but I think for the kind of people who can do that, I think they have to have a very special ability or talent to learn a language. There are some people who can do it. Some people just have a natural ability to learn languages very, very quickly. There aren't many, but some can. But I think for 99% of people, I think the best way to become fluent is to spend time in a country where the language is spoken.
I will, because my English improved a lot when I came here. So, and okay, so Brazilians usually they're very curious about the Irish accent. So first, let's talk about accents. Do you think that a strong accent could be a problem, like a strong Portuguese or Italian accent?
I don't think so. I mean, in terms of for Irish people to understand foreign people with a strong accent, generally no. Okay, I mean it's easy for me to talk because as a teacher I've worked with non-native speakers for many years, so my ear has become accustomed to dealing with people who are non-native speakers. I would personally say, for example, the students that I've worked with over the years, the accent that for me has always been the most difficult is the Vietnamese accent.
Okay.
I don't have problems understanding Brazilian people when they speak English generally.
Okay, I didn't know that about it.
Yeah, Vietnamese people have a lot of problems with certain sounds in English.
Okay.
And because they can't pronounce those sounds, we as native speakers find it difficult to know exactly what they're trying to say sometimes.
So about the Irish accent, can you like demonstrate or maybe talk about the differences between, because people usually say that it's the most difficult one to understand if you learned like the American accent or the British.
When you take into account all the different accents from all the native English-speaking countries of the world, I certainly don't think the Irish is the most difficult. But there are certain regional Irish accents which are very difficult. The Northern Irish accent is the most difficult, especially anywhere in or near Belfast.
Okay.
That is very difficult, even for me sometimes. When I hear people, for example, in the old days when there was a lot of trouble in Northern Ireland politically, and there were a lot of bombings and a lot of people were being killed, obviously you had many people being interviewed by journalists on the street after a bombing, after a shooting, and sometimes it was very difficult to understand that person when they were speaking.
I've heard that Cork also is a different...
It could be difficult for non-native speakers. It's my favourite Irish accent because it's the most musical.
Okay.
When Cork people speak, to me it sounds like music.
For me it's like some letters like T in the end of the word sometimes become, I don't know if it's from Cork, but usually I hear something like sh in the end,
Yes,
like bush.
that is true.
Bush.
That is true.
Now I'm used to it and I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But some people really like when they see a video or something,
Yeah.
sometimes they don't.
What you've said is definitely true.
Okay.
But it would still be my favourite Irish accent because I love the musicality of it.
Me too. I think it's beautiful. No, that's it. So
Okay.
thank you very much for
Thank you, Nicole.
the video. And so this is my teacher. People asked a lot to make a video with an Irish person. So that's it. Thank you, Gerry.
Thank you, Nicole.
And bye guys, see you.
Bye. Okay. So have you got enough?
Yeah. Claro que vocês vão entender que podem ter havido alguns erros, mas é errando que a gente aprende e com certeza quando a gente tá falando com mais naturalidade, a língua sai bem mais natural, então ali eu não tava sendo tão natural como vocês podem imaginar, mas eu fiz outros vídeos em inglês e se vocês gostarem de vídeos em inglês aqui no canal, eu posso fazer alguns, mesmo sem entrevistar alguém, porque é bom para eu treinar também, então não se esqueçam de avaliar o vídeo, se inscrever no canal, um beijo e até o próximo vídeo. So, of course, when I'm talking more naturally, it will sound more naturally, but in the video I was very nervous. But you know that the most important thing is to practice, so that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm doing in the video. It was a challenge for me to do a video in English, because I'm kind of shy, and I know that people like just to judge the others. So I know my accent isn't perfect, but I'm trying, and I'm always practicing and trying to learn more, and that's what you should do. So if you want more videos in English, just tell me, because it would be nice to do it. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like the video and follow me on Instagram, and bye, see you in the next video.